What is up, Raider Nation? Today we're talking about the Raiders here on Dynasty Pylon. We're talking about the draft, free agency, how well they're going to do, that and much more. Here on Dynasty Pylon, let's talk a little bit of Raiders. What is up, Raider Nation? What can I say about the Las Vegas Raiders? It's a brand new GM. Tom Telesco is now taken over with the addition of now official, not of this year, Antonio Pierce, who was the interim head coach of last year, went 5-4 after they fired Josh McDaniels. So after week 8, it was just kind of interesting to see that the team had changed, the atmosphere had changed, and it wasn't too bad for the last final 9 games for Antonio Pierce. So they kind of liked his vibe. They liked him. They asked him to stay around, and there he is. So now he's the new head coach there for the Raiders going into 24-25 season. So let's be honest, the Raiders haven't made playoffs since basically 2022. So it's been about now we're hitting 22 years now, right? So it's time. It's time. However, we need to structure the team a little bit more. The biggest question is what's going to go on with the offense? Is Aiden O'Connell going to be able to start over Gardner Minshew, or is Gardner Minshew going to be the guy? Like, we've seen Gardner Minshew, we've seen him play with multiple teams, we've seen him do pretty well as a starter. But however, are these the guys to take them to the promised land? I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too high on these guys. Like, being that guy, being Super Bowl playoff era, like you need some talent, especially for the run game. The run game kind of got scarce there after losing Josh Jacobs to the Packers. So here we are. But overall, like it could be good, it could be bad. Some people believe in this team, and there's some wild, crazy, people saying that they could do really, really, really well and be a Super Bowl contending team. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. When I feel a little bit worried about this team, I feel that that's a team that probably can't make it. But I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. I'm not going to say that they can't hold their own. I'm not saying that that they don't have the potential of making it. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, thankfully you guys got one of the best tight ends in what this generation should probably see as a tight end, going to moving on to the draft picks. I mean, the draft picks alone are, have always been a joke here for the Raiders. I mean, let's start with 2021 Alex Leatherwood. Leatherwood now is playing with the Chargers, who was a bit of a reach. And then he went to the Bears, and he didn't really do anything there. And the Bears said, you know what, you're not that good. So now he's somewhere else. I don't think he's going to even play with the Chargers either. So kind of a waste. In 2021, I don't think that there's really much anybody from that roster except Trayvon Moehrig and maybe Malcolm Kuntz as a starter. So, and then 2022, it was just you have Terry Munford, who's a right tackle, and that's pretty much just about it. Like out of the draft, like it just these first rounders, second rounders don't kind of stay around, or they've been drafting the wrong talent. However, drop Brock Bowers and JPJ, Jackson Power Johnson, who's pretty good. I believe is probably going to bring some very good talent to this team for the years to come, and I think it's going to be interesting how they're going to run this offense with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. So I don't think any of the other quarterbacks are going to probably compete for the starting job besides these two. So we'll see what the Raiders do. But as for rookie wise, let's talk about these rookies actually let's start with the free agency. They brought in Christian Wilkins, who's one of the best defensive tackles probably in the league. Just came from the Miami Dolphins. Who's going to bring a good leadership, with him alongside with Max Crosby should be very interesting. Tyree Wilson is very good. And Malcolm Kuntz, who they drafted like 2-3 years ago in 2021 draft. Now, this line could be good with the addition of Robert Spillane behind him and Divine Diablo. I expect those front six with Jack Jones, who came from New England, who's also another guy they brought in. I think it's going to be pretty good for this front seven. I think it's going to be very good for the defense, and you can't not include Trayvon Moehrig, Marcus Epps, and Nate Hobbs back there with Ja'Cory and Hobbs. Like, this defense looks promising. It looks pretty good. They can hold their own. It wouldn't surprise me that, just like every year, they always give Kansas City a run for their money. There's always that one game where you think that Kansas City is going to blow them out of the water, and they fight. They really fight. These division games are pretty interesting, and I love watching those games because I feel like at that point it's like Kansas City versus Raiders. It's like, holy crap, like they're actually doing pretty good. Can this be a team that they actually do well enough that they beat the Chiefs, and then the Chiefs were doing good all year, and the Raiders come in and just kind of like just pummel them or sneak a win by them? So, which makes you think, why aren't they this good against everybody else? So the Raiders are very interesting to me. They're one of those teams that it's like, okay, what are they going to do this year? What do they bring? Honestly, I can tell you right now, out of the last two days of practice, the defense has been doing pretty good. And as for the offense, it's not looking too good. Gardner Minshew struggling. Gardner is struggling, and same was Aiden. They're both struggling against this defense, but they are adapting to this new team. They are adapting to what is essentially Luke Getzey's offensive scheme. So give it some time. I just don't know if it's going to be clicking enough with Devontae Adams, Myers, Mayer, and Bowers. Now, those are basically the four offensive pieces weapons. So even if they can run the three set with Myers, Tucker, Adams, and maybe Bowers, and Mayer might be that blocking tight end, we'll see. But Bowers can kind of do it all. So we'll see. But again, Alex Madison bringing in for the offensive piece. There we got Zamir White. So having him back there should be an addition of help. But again, I've never really have been big on Alex Madison. I cannot talk today. He's never really shown me what it takes to be that starting role running back. He never has, and I don't think he ever will. When he had his chances, when Cook was down, Madison went in for Minnesota, and he just didn't really shine. He didn't have what it took to be that guy. So I don't know how this run game is going to be. Obviously, Zamir White's going to be the main pass catching power back there. He's going to have to end up doing it all. But again, I don't think he's going to be this key playmaker where if you get him on your fantasy league, he's going to be your RB1. Or if that matter of fact, as an RB2. Like he might be a low end RB2. Is he going to get most of the workload? Absolutely. I just wouldn't spend, anything higher than round 6 on this guy. Like I don't think that the running back room for this team is going to be the main key focus. Obviously, they have 2 good tight ends, and Devontae Adams. I can't even. There's no words to explain how good he is. He's just that good. As for the line goes, they've been improving. It's been a lot better since last 2 years, I'd say, for the draft. They've been working on it. It's not entirely as bad from previous years, I'd say from 2021. It's been getting better, obviously, with JPJ there being the addition, should be the good left tackle. Colton Miller, obviously, with being the left tackle there. So I'm interested on what they do here. But as for the offense, it does worry me. It does worry me. I'm interested in what they do. Again, I just feel like they have a prime chance to probably end up being in the top draft selection, which is not good for this season. But again, next year's QBs, you guys are gonna have to make a move if you guys want somebody elite. I don't think that next year's QBs in the rookie draft is any good, because if anything, you might end up with Quinn Ewers there, who's okay, but I again, not anything special that's going to be blowing people out of the water or anything like that. I think it's going to be a very interesting year for the offense there. But as for defense, it is what it is. So they brought in Harrison Bryant as well as another tight end there. So for the offense, so don't forget about that guy from Cleveland. So again, let's talk about these rookies that they brought in. What's up, Tua? Coming in the minimum Crosby crew at 6 and 7 and pushing 8. Hey, what's up? All right. So you're clocking in at 7. All right, man. I appreciate you coming in, giving me your 7. All right. I'll hold that towards the end of the episode when we do our team prediction. So let me pull up these rookies that the Raiders essentially got. Brock Bowers, one of the best tight ends probably in the league, coming out of Georgia. We've been talking about him for the past 2 years. Interesting landing spot, not to say the least. It was lucky for the Raiders to get this guy. You couldn't pass him up. For the other 12 teams to just sit there and just let him go, obviously they were drafting by need, and you guys drafted by talent. Brock Bowers was sitting there, might as well, right? Get him. He's going to be very good. You guys had JPJ as well, and you guys got him in with the second round, who's probably easily one of the best linemen coming out this class as well. So not the best one, but I mean, obviously JPJ is going to be very good. I think he's going to be a very good center. But they might have him at left guard. So that should be interesting. Andre James probably settled in for the center piece, so we'll see how this line does. Then you guys with Delmar Glaze, another tackle, or Glaze, sorry. Probably won't be making an immediate impact right off the bat as a starting position, but I mean, it could easily fight for position. I think next year he'll probably end up getting himself into the reps and maybe the starter role. So I'm not entirely too down on these picks. I like what they did. Richardson there, corner out of Mississippi State, and then Eigenberg out of Ohio State, linebacker. Tommy Eigenberg should be pretty decent behind Devon Diablo. Learn after him. They're both pretty young. I mean, he could probably learn a thing or two. The rest of these picks are going to be 6th and 7th round picks. I mean, you got Dylan Labe out of New Hampshire, and then Trey Taylor, safety out of Air Force, and then MJ Devershire, corner out of Pittsburgh. So again, these guys, they're filler spots. The 6th and 7th, it's really hard for these guys to make the team, but they're there. They can make the roster. You never know that these guys can make up the boards and end up being something special, like just from constant reps. I even think that Williams or Devonshire got himself a pick six or something like that just yesterday in practice OTAs. But again, the defense is killing it. Offense, not so much, which is kind of interesting on what's going to happen for the season. Like if they can't handle their own defense, I mean, this is OTAs. It's only second day. It's only camp's only second day. Let them get adjusted. Let them figure it out. And then eventually we'll go to the play not playoffs, but the actual game time where it counts. So, but right now, defense is killing it out of OTAs and or the mini camp is what I say, and they're looking pretty good. I expected that. I expected that defense should be the ones to maintain this team, and I especially with the addition of Christian Wilkins, he's very good with Max Crosby, and then that defensive line's pretty good with Robert Spillane, Divine Diablo should be a very good addition. But again, we'll see how they hold their own when the season happens. It's only June. There's a lot of time between here and there, and see what they do. Maybe they make a move here for QB, but I think right now is the biggest issue is going to be that QB spot. So again, I'm not too high on Gardner Minshew being like their main starter. So here we are. Speaking of Gardner Minshew, we have a new column behind him. They're fighting for the spot right now, and they're both doing pretty bad right now. But again, give it time. Let them restructure themselves. They O'Connell's going through his sophomore year right now, so again, he's still kind of new to the system. Gardner Minshew's been in the league for a while, but now he's learning his new weapons, his new offense, getting everything adjusted. So I'm not expecting him coming to OTAs and being like a baller. So chill. Running back room, we have Zamir White and Alex Madison. Again, you heard me earlier. I'm not too big on Madison. He's never really was that guy to make a difference for me. I never really seen him being anything great. So if he comes here to the Raiders and he starts shining, good for him. Good. Like that's what the Raiders need, because I don't think Zamir White can handle it on his own. Like, it's just impossible. Amir Abdullah also, good speedster back and offset, change the pace there. But again, these backs, I'm not expecting them to run this offense. Obviously, it's going to be the pass catching with Devontae Adams, Myers, Mayer, and Bowers, and Trey Tucker. These guys are going to be the main guys. Like I don't see DJ Turner getting himself in. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the main kick return guy. So we'll see how that goes. But this offense is going to be the one that's going to be the struggling factor on this team. I'm not worried about this defense. This defense is going to be pretty nasty. I can vouch for that. I think that they're going to be able to hold their own. That's if the defense starts falling apart, then there probably goes the offense. Why? Because they're probably going to be on the field more, and they're probably going to get gassed more. So again, dynasty wise though, if you're trying to get yourself a decent tight end, pretty good tight end, I think Brock Bowers is pretty much that guy. If you have a good tight end, especially tight end premium, Brock Bowers is probably that guy. Why? Because even if the Raiders don't do as good offensively this year, dynasty, you still have him for next year. I do believe that the Raiders will fix themselves at a quarterback position. I don't think this is going to be the quarterback here for this year or two. I think that changes by next year. Even if they bring in Quinn Ewers from the draft next year, which probably be maybe a bit of an upgrade, in my opinion. However, but again, that's next year. We don't even know if where they're going to land on draft. So we'll see. If you guys end up with a top pick, then awesome. But then that only means that this year is probably going to be major struggle bus, right? As I like saying. So obviously Devontae Adams. I'm not honestly, which is crazy. I'm getting to that age. I'm getting to that point where I'm kind of taking this age into factor. I'm not trading for him, and I'm not gonna trade anything high for him. Really, like I'll trade you something low, but he's getting to that point where it's like, okay, do I spend a high draft capital on this guy? If you're in contention to win now, is he even like? Can Gardner Minshew make him 1,000-yard receiver with 10 touchdowns? I don't know. I don't know. So he's kind of like that guy where it's like, okay, I don't want to give you too much for him. And dynasty purposes, you know how we are. We look for the future. We at least want a guy for at least 2 to 3 seasons. Davante Adams could be there for 2-3 seasons, but then is he going to be on the Raiders? We don't know. Is he going to be getting anything work with Gardner Minshew? Do they bring in a new quarterback next year? That's what worries me about Davante Adams. He's in this team where he's basically the main offensive powered weapon, and with Jacoby Myers there, is a good piece for him as well. But again, I'm not spending anything too high for Davante Adams on my dynasty league. I just can't right now. There's no way in hell. I feel comfortable with it. Do I know he's good? Is he good? Yeah, obviously, yes. He's one of the best in the league. But I can't justify on the team he's on right now. He's going to be a league winner this year. It might be a little bit of a setback. Is he going to still be productive and win you a few games? Yeah, absolutely. But my worry is I don't know if he's going to be the guy that's going to be your main receiver that gets you a crap ton of points week in, week after, week in, week out, week after week after week, like he used to do. So we've seen a little tick down from him from lately, ever since 2021 season, the loss of Carr. So it's just it's different. Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker, yeah, I'm probably gonna wait till waivers or see if they're available and see if you get themselves anything. But for Dynasty, I'm not spending way too much on this team for offensively. However, for defense, you got Max Crosby, Christian Wilson, Tyree Wilson, and Malcolm Kuntz. Obviously, Christian Wilson and Max Crosby are going to be the high playmakers there. You're going to want to actually spend some more capital on them if you play IDP. Now, if you don't know what IDP is, it's individual defensive players. We talk about it all the time on this channel. So hopefully if you don't know what that is, look into it. It's actually very fun. You can actually think about looking into it and playing. Like, give it a chance. We're gonna have our own league here. It's just gonna be IDP only. So if you want to get into that, check it out later. We haven't set it up yet, but we will. So keep that in mind. What's up, Mike? Win now. You're paying a 2025 first for Adams. Yeah, but I understand. But can't Gardner Minshew be the guy to get it to him all the time? I love this. I do, but Adams is good. He's going to be very productive. It worries me for the future. Because if you spend a 2025 first, and what if this offense just doesn't do good? What if this is, I don't know. This team worries me offensively. Defense is going to make it easier for them because they're good, but I mean, you're spending a first on Davante Adams, who, essentially, how long are you going to have him for? He's kind of climbing up there. I know he's going to be one of those factors and probably going to play till like 32, 33 years old anyways. Like, he's going to be like D-Hop. He's going to be for the league for quite some time. But again, I just don't know. I missed the start. You see Minshew or O'Connell starting? It's going to be Minshew for me. I think it's going to be Minshew. I don't think O'Connell is going to be good enough to carry this team to the promised land. And even I don't even think this team is going to be going to the promised land with Gardner Minshew. Like, can they make playoffs? Maybe. Some people say they might. I'm not big on it. I don't think that they are going to. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, and we're going to look into that here later on, probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. So, but as for Gardner Minshew going there, it worries me big time. Like, he did okay, decent enough for Indianapolis, but he also had, an interesting type of team there. Right now, it's not going so well for them. In camp right now. I mean, the defense is just killing them. But like I said, I expected this. I just don't know how well it's going to carry on through the season. But Davante Adams, like I said, he's always going to be productive. And, he's a very good player. It just worries me for future reference. I need to figure out. But I'm not paying anything crazy. I'm not giving 2 firsts. I'm not giving multiple seconds in a first. I'm not giving you a player, a rookie, and a first. Like, I'm just not paying a lot. for something that, I understand he's going to be good, but that's probably the bottom line that I'm going to give you for Davante Adams as a first. And that's just because of the offensive one he's on right now. I don't know if say they go get Quinn Ewers, right? And he comes in, you still have to hope that Quinn Ewers is good. You still have to hope that whoever's coming in next year builds that chemistry. I don't think that next year's QBs are going to be good enough, but I think that if they bring in and I don't want to say this because it's too early. They're still on their teams. They're out of contracts by next year, but I don't want to say Dak, and I don't want to put Fields out there. Okay, I don't want to say that because then people are gonna, oh yeah, well, they can end up there and change it. I get it, but we don't know. There's 31 other teams that are probably gonna go after those guys. So again, it's kind of scary where you have Davante Adams. If you have a Davante Adams on your roster, you're not getting rid of him either. But I don't think you're gonna get all the capital that you want either. So, anyways, defensively, Devon Diablo, IDP wise, and Jack Jones, I think they're going to be very good. I've never really been big on Robert Spillane, despite everything and everyone says about him. It's just for IDP wise, it just doesn't really happen for him. I don't know why. Maybe now that he's on the will spot here at the Raiders, it'll be probably good for him. But I mean, obviously, you're never going to get yourself Max Crosby because whoever owns him already is probably never going to give him up. He's just that good. You could trade the farm for him, and they're still going to think about him. They're probably going to deny you. There is no other player besides Max Crosby on this roster that is going to be you're going to be able to acquire from them. He's one of those guys that constantly produces and constantly gets you the tackles, the sacks, and the QB hits on your roster for your IDP leagues. That it's going to be impossible to get him. Christian Wilkins, you could probably get. You could probably sell the fact that he's on a new team, new system, still learning, which blah, blah, blah. You could probably trick him, but again, probably owned, probably on a roster, and probably difficult to get. If you get him for a second, maybe a late first, awesome. But again, depending on what your league settings are, I don't know how. For us, it would be probably a second would be a high cost for him, and you could probably get him. But again, Wilkins is probably one of those guys who's probably going to be hard to get. Someone who you probably could get is Tyree Wilson, Divine Diablo, Jack Jones, and Trayvon Mooring, and maybe Nate Hobbs. I think Nate Hobbs might even be someone on free agency. Trayvon Mooring maybe could be on someone's roster as well. But these guys you could probably easily get with thirds, maybe fourth, depending on your league, how deep your league is draft-wise. But I think they're going to be on defense a lot. And I've said this before. IDP leagues, if the team's on defense a lot, those are the IDPs you want. Because they're going to have more chances, more snaps, more opportunities for the big impact plays. Which also means if these guys are on defense a lot, I don't have hope for the offense. So, with that being said, both offense and defense, I've said my piece on both. Let's get to the schedule. Again, I usually wait till the end for this, and I don't ever actually say anything. So, guys, if you're here, please give me your records and please tell me what you think. I have Tua sitting here. What do you say, 6 or 7? Tua gave me 7. All right. So if you're here, give me your predictions. We're gonna add it to our chart, and we'll see how well we did. And Mike, if you're here, please, I would love your input on what you think they could potentially do. Guys, if you don't follow the Get Right Fantasy Network guys over there, they're pretty good as well. So they do their mock drafts Friday nights and then kind of review them on Monday nights. So if you like mock drafts and you're on Sleeper, head over their channel. But yeah, so week 1 we got the Chargers, and then you travel again to the Ravens. So 2 away games back to back. Then you got the Panthers, the Browns, the Broncos, the Steelers, the Rams, Kansas City, and week 9, the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's all before the bye week, week 10. I'm loving this bye week here at 10. It's kind of midway through the season. Kind of justify, all right, well, we need to turn some things around because the last end of the stretch is these last 8 weeks and you do or die Kremenite, right? So, right off the bat, when I'm looking at this roster, and I hate to say this, and there's a lot of things that I kind of want to tell you about this offense that needs improvement. Everything's worked out, right? And I'm a firm believer. Work on everything that you need to work on before you bring in the talented quarterback. Okay. They've been kind of working it. Right now, I think they probably need to work at, maybe another running back piece and maybe another nice receiver there. They're at round 2 or 3 next year, and then maybe another lineman. But first, I think maybe they bring in a QB. But again, I've said this for the next 2 years. There's only probably 1 or 2 QBs that I like, and it's not very good. If you needed a QB, 2024 draft was the year to get them. As you saw, how many just went in the first 12 picks, right? Because these guys know that the next few years, these QBs coming out are mediocre as hell. And that's it's just plain and simple. And I've said this about mediocre draft classes 2 years ago. The only starter from that year or from that draft class is Purdy. All the rest of them are probably already backups already. Oh, well, it's so sad. That's how it is. Some draft classes have them, some don't. Like, for instance, this year, 2024, there was no running backs. Don't tell me Brooks is good, because I'm telling you right now, he's probably going to be a good RB2 by next year, and because Carolina is probably going to get somebody to start over him. He's going to be there for a while. Don't get me wrong, dynasty-wise, but he's going to be there for a while. Brooks is probably the best one, and he's probably primed for this year to be very good productive-wise for fantasy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina goes out and get another running back to have a good RB1, RB2, 1-2 punch there. So this running back class was kind of sad, and that's just plain honest truth how I feel about it. But hey, you can argue if you want, but it is just what it is. So next few years, QBs, Quinn Ewers, if they end up with the Raiders next year, awesome. Again, so Tua said 7. Mike comes in here with I see 5s, and I'm being nice. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. So November 17th, week 11, you got the Dolphins, then you got the Broncos, Chiefs, Buccaneers. Week 15, the Falcons. 16, Jaguars. 17, the Saints, and then we end the season here. Week 18 with the Chargers. They're at home. Okay. I don't see you guys winning the first 2 games. In LA at Chargers, I think you might get destroyed just because you're still getting things worked out. We'll see how that goes. Honestly, you might split with the Chargers, so let's put that. There's your week 1 week there at week 18. Do I think the Chargers have the potential to make the playoffs, and I think they start benching their guys? Yeah, probably, and this is probably why you win week 18. And you got week 3 against the Panthers, who I still think need a lot of work. So let's give that a win. The Browns, nope. The Broncos, still early in the year. I'm gonna say you split with the Broncos. You might not win that game, but you might win week 12 there, November 24th. Here when you host the Broncos. I'll give you that. So that's 2 wins, right? Like that's 2. The Steelers, I think Steelers done everything right a team could do this offseason, and draft-wise, free agency. I think the Steelers have a good chance of destroying people this year. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think the Raiders are going to beat them. So let's just put it that. The Rams still got some talent and still got some pretty good coaches over there, and they somehow sneak wins and manage to make it happen. That could be a team where you beat. Could be your 3rd win there. maybe not. That one's the kind of the one I'm kind of thinking of. I don't think you beat the Chiefs next week, and I don't think the Bengals the following week. Then you got your bye. You got Miami Dolphins, no Broncos. I did say that one at week 12. You get swept by the Chiefs. The Buccaneers are very interesting to me, and the Falcons are very interesting to me. Jaguars, another team that could be a win, depending on how well their defense does as well. And then you got the Saints here, who the Saints are just as bad as most of these teams. I think you guys probably can compete there, and maybe I think you guys get that win. So these other teams, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't like this year. Offensively, I don't think that the running backs you have there are gonna be good enough to carry, 4, 5, 6 yards and get you closer to the pylons. And I think that it's gonna be a pass catching game. You're gonna be relying on the pass catchers a lot. You got 4 of them between Mayer, Myers, Bowers, and Devontae Adams. So it wouldn't surprise me if you guys run 2 double tight sets. It's possible. I can see it. Mike, hey, thanks for stopping by. I got to go to work. Meeting. All right, no problem. Check us out tomorrow. Have Lindsay Rhodes. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. I'll try and be there tomorrow. I'll try. You guys come on later at night. It's kind of difficult for me. So I have things going on at night. So I'll see if I can. But I appreciate it, man. I can always watch it later. Again, that's Mike coming in real quick, giving us his 5 wins for the Raiders. He says 5. I'm looking at maybe 4 here, and Tua gave us his 7. So, but yeah, Mike, have a good day at work, man. So let's see, 7, 5. I almost want to see guaranteed 3, maybe 4. Raider Nation, I'm sorry, but it looks like it's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be a very interesting year with what's going on offensively. I'm not worried about your defense. And if you guys can keep the same defense next year and just maybe upgrade a little few pieces here, it's not that much of a detrimental loss as much as it is for your offense. So let's see. You got 7, and I'll stick with my 3. I'll stick with the 3, and then with Mike's 5, that averages it about 5 wins. All right, it's about 5 wins. So kind of between 7 and 3. We'll go in the middle. We'll go at 5. Let's bring up our chart as we normally do to add to our playoff chart that we'll have towards the end of the year. And then we can revisit. If you're listening on Spotify, you can always let us know as well. Let me see here if I can pull it up real quick and then start there it is. All right. Let's add the Raiders to this, shall we? Where are you at? Bottom right corner. All right. So we're giving them a 5. We're giving them a 5. And I don't know how anybody else feels. If you're in here, please give me your thoughts on what you think, what they could do. But right now we're leaving at 5. And it's why? Because of the offense. The offense scares me right now. The offensive pieces, it's receiver wise, pass catcher wise, you guys are good. It's behind the line that I'm worried. The quarterbacks, the running backs. That's the part that worries me the most. And a line is basically decent enough to protect average guys back there. So we'll see how the season goes. But that's how we're going to leave it with Dynasty Pylon here talking about the Raiders. 5 wins. So, again, if you guys go into the draft next year, I highly suggest maybe getting quarterback, running back. Quinn Ewers, I think, would be a good asset. And then Trayvon Henderson in the 2nd round, right? I think that's possible. That'll elevate this offense by a lot, especially Henderson. So, again, guys, if you're watching this or listening to this on Spotify, check us out. We're close to 400 views on YouTube. We're going to give out another jersey at that time. So it'll be for the lucky number 7. So get up on that. Guys, thanks for coming in. Mike, for coming in. I appreciate Tua, of course, giving me your record as well. And as always, for Raider Nation, just win, baby. That's just, hopefully this year is not as bad as what we think it is. And next year, hopefully we make the best of it. You still have all your draft picks next year, so I don't think that trading them away is a good idea. Just keep them. Just keep them, see what happens. But as always, thanks for watching this Dynasty Pylon, and I'll see you on the next one.
Getting hyped when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate.